Hello and welcome to another episode of Tales of an Insurance Agent. This is Sylvester Lane with Cody Askins.
Hello guys, thanks for joining us.
We're so happy to come back with another episode this week to give you another great story with a little bit of information hopefully that'll help you in the field, but will make you laugh at the same time.
Absolutely, yeah. We've actually got a pretty cool story for you guys today.
So we read this book over here, and Cody will tell you it's by a great guy named Brian Tracy. And Brian Tracy does something that is very unique and a little nerve-wracking, especially when you need money.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny. His book, The Art of Closing the Sale, and I have it on audiobook for anyone that wants it. I'll give it out for free. Doesn't bother me a bit.
In The Art of Closing the Sale, what does he do that is so unique for the sales position?
Well, he goes out time and time. Make a long story short, he goes out time and time again. Everyone always says, "Hey, I want to think about it. I want to think about it. I want to think about it." And finally, he just looks at someone and says, "I don't do callbacks. You have all the information you need to make an educated, informed decision right now. Why don't you just take it?"
That's true. And the outcome ends up, I can't remember, but it's like 5 or 6 houses in a row.
Yeah, they take it, and he goes and repeats and learns that it works. And then he has 50 agents underneath him when he joins management and trains them all to ask for the business on the very first appointment.
Which is amazing. You know, one of the hardest things in life is to ask for the business. In any atmosphere, for some reason, as humans, we don't like confrontation. We don't like the idea of putting people in uncomfortable situations. You know, and we cover that a lot in here because a lot of what we do is placing people in uncomfortable situations, especially since we're in a field where you're talking about death.
Yep.
You know,
it's not the easiest topic in the world to talk about. But you know what? You bring up a good point. I know you did that. I know you did that on purpose. The good thing is we're selling life, though. You know what I mean? I mean, we're selling the people that are going to be around when the others do pass away. You know, we're selling taking care of the family and the friends that are still alive.
That's totally true. Today, instead of doing our normal banter that we normally do, we're just going to jump in this story. And we're going to have Cody tell a story, and I'll probably stop him every once in a while and discuss some things that are happening. But I'm going to let Cody control this one. So,
okay. Thanks, Sylvester. Yeah, one thing that was kind of funny is to kind of set this story up in a way is I was with a buddy of mine, and we had both been in the insurance business for a while. We had he had actually not been in it as long, we'll say, but we decided that we were going to go out and do some door knocking one day. This has been 3 or 4 years ago probably. And we get out, we do some door knocking, and we are actually door knocking some different leads. And we get to this one house, and we are kind of like last week. We are not as far out, if that makes sense. But we are a good ways from civilization or from the office. You know, we're a good 30, 40 minutes out. The home is still out in the middle of nowhere, even though it's not 3, 4, 5 miles off of off of a highway and then a dirt road and all that. It's not that crazy, but it's still out there. But it's at least surrounded by other homes. So we actually get up to the door, we knock, we explain while we're there, we get in, as we always do. I always ask to go in, sometimes before I even tell them who I am, which is weird, but you know what, it works sometimes.
Right.
And we get in, find out that this lady has multiple policies, and we get to know her, and we find out that we can actually kind of do a bundle and save. And to kind of jump right in, because I know Sylvester have a bunch of questions, we do a lot of warming up. We do a lot of fact finding. We do a lot of building value. We do a lot of asking questions along the way. We do a lot of listening, a lot of allowing her to talk. And what's funny is we get down to where it's time to propose and ask for the business. It's time to close, baby. It's time to get to the point that actually makes us some cabbage, some money. And so we get to that point, and I say, ma'am, you already have this. You want it. You need it. And we're simply putting you in a better situation. So let's see if we can get you approved. And she says, you know what? This is a big decision. I'm going to be spending $300 a month. Because she was already spending $350 or $400 a month. And we were bundling several policies and saving her money. And she said, you know what? Let me think about it. I need to think about it for just a couple days. And I had been listening to the CD quite a bit from Brian Tracy, the Articles in the Cell. And I had also practiced this a few times. I had done some role playing, even tried it out in the field a few times. And so I'm with this other agent that's a good friend of mine, and he starts packing up his stuff. And I'm like, dude, when do we ask someone one time to buy and then just start, oh, okay, you know what? We'll give them time to think. We don't pack up our stuff, man. We're going to get the clothes. We're going to get the business. We're going to get the sale. That's in my mind. I know we can get it. So I look at her, and the agent had never heard me do this. Probably had never heard anyone do this before. And I said, ma'am, we have a personal rule. We do not make callbacks. In this case, you have everything you need to make an educated, informed decision.
Now, what did her face look like when you say this?
It was a little puzzled. At this point, it was a little puzzled. And I said, we are giving you more coverage and we are saving you money. It is an absolute win-win. It's a no-brainer. Why don't you just take it? And she looked at me with a puzzled face and she thought, and we're both obviously not saying a word. And what's funny is I look over at the other agent and he's just like, you can see his facial expression. He's like, what in the world?
Right.
Is he serious? And he looks at me like I'm crazy. But I had taken the lead from the beginning, so he was probably cool with it. But he was just like, he was shocked. He's like, whoa, what did we just do? He's like, I don't want to blow a $300 sale. This is $3-4 grand in our pocket. What are we doing?
Right.
And the comp rates here at Secure Agent Mentor, that's a $4,000 sale. So it's like, I don't want to blow a $4,000 sale by getting too aggressive or trying
right.
to close too hard. Well, what's really funny is she takes about 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds, thinks about it, ponders it. She looks at both of us and says, you know what? If you don't make callbacks, I guess I have to take it. So, I mean, it's exactly the ending that we want to this story and to this sale. But why would we expect anything else? I assumed she would say yes. I told her that we're not going to come back. We're saving her money. We're giving her more coverage. It's an absolute no-brainer.
Right. Now, let's go back into the story and explain the technique of saying we're not going to take callbacks, because I think that there's a fine line, and you can expound on it, but sometimes you can just be rude and be like, we're not going to do callbacks.
Exactly.
Or sometimes, people talk too much.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a way to ask, there's a way to say it without coming across rude, without coming across short, without coming across as if you're giving someone an ultimatum, so to speak. You want to phrase this, and you want to come across so respectful, so humble, so kind, and like that you're genuinely looking out for them. And you know what? If we're doing what's best for them, if we're putting them in a better situation, most of the time they will respond in a way that we expect. And they will actually do it. They will actually pull the trigger.
Right, and if I'm not mistaken, in Brian Tracy's book, he even goes over when he explains why he doesn't do callbacks is because he sees the benefit in it so much that he doesn't want to be a part of somebody making a horrible mistake in their life.
Right, yeah.
So I think if your purpose and your value for why you're in the insurance business is right, when you say it, it'll come across like that.
Exactly.
So you're not saying it because you want people to be pressured into getting something, that they can't have,
I just want someone to make a decision when they normally maybe wouldn't make a decision. But when I'm sitting in front of you and I'm saying, hey, you've got $40,000, you're paying $400. I'm going to give you $50,000 for $300 or whatever the case was.
Right.
Those I'm just using round numbers, but it's pretty accurate. I mean, it's got to be close. Why would you need to think about it?
Right.
What about that? Would you not jump out of that chair and come over and give me a big old hug? And I'll even say stuff like that in appointments too. I mean, literally. I've even got, this will make it funny, just because of the type of appointment it was, and every appointment's different. I even had a lady this reminds me of another story, another time. I even got down on one knee in front of her.
All right.
And you know what? We got the sale. We got the sale. Seriously.
Well, that brings a new definition of hungry
Right.
to the table.
That was really early on in my career, but
right. One of the things that is crucial when you're doing this is your warm up. And we kind of skipped over all that because we talk about it a lot. But I want to reiterate, you want to build value with the people that you're talking to, because when you say stuff that is kind of harsh or can come off a little harder than the normal sales pitch,
right.
You want them to know that the reason why you're doing it is because you built the value of they need it.
Exactly. I had already took easily an hour and a half at this point. I didn't walk in and 20 minutes later say, hey, we don't do callbacks.
Right.
I mean, I had built it up. I had her on the edge of her seat absolutely needing and wanting what we had to offer. It was better for her.
Right. We're going to wrap up pretty soon, but before we wrap up, let's go over how you handle when they say, I can't do it right now. So when you get rejected from the we don't do callbacks, how do you exit the house? How do you maintain the professionalism, and stuff like that? That maybe they might call you or something like that.
I don't know if that's happened, but if it were to happen, I would tell them, I respect your decision. I don't do callbacks, but we will leave our information if you change your mind. And the reason why we don't, and I even tell them, one of the main reasons we don't do callbacks is people do not call us back. They do not make a decision later. And so if you say, I want to think about it, I don't want to make a decision today, 90+% of the time, you will not think about it, you will not call us back, and you will never make a decision on what we're saying you're going to make a decision on.
That's true. That's good stuff.
I'm honest with them. I'm transparent.
Right. And that's one of the things we believe in. We live in a world where you can get information everywhere. And I know I've said this tons of times, but back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, the only people that had the information was the salesperson.
Right.
So we were the only people with information. Nowadays, that is not the case. You have the best search engine in the world in the palm of your hands usually, or at a computer, and now you can even just talk to it. You can say, okay, Siri, or hey, Google, and you can ask the question.
That's right.
So we want to give the people the information and be transparent with them so that we can help them in the needs that they have.
Right.
Thank you guys for joining us this week.
This was a brief one, but hopefully this helped. I mean, it reminds us to be creative, so.
Right. It is one of our shorter ones. We'll be back tomorrow with our weekly training series.
Absolutely. Train for Success. Please tune in.
And it'll be a great topic. I don't want to give you too much because I want you to come back. Check out our Facebook for it. This is Sylvester Lane with Cody Askins. Cody, how can they get in contact with you?
Give us a call, 417-883-9300. That's our office. Or you can reach me by email, cody.askins@secureig.com. Thanks for listening to Secure Agent Mentor, and have a great rest of your week.
Yep. Take care. Bye-bye.